Okay, so we're gonna go through 80 carry masteries on PBE right now. Basically, I have it narrowed down to two main pages I think are gonna be popular. 12.0.18, focusing on runic armor and Warlord's Bloodlust. I think those are a good combination because 8% bonus to all shields and healing, combined with critical strikes, healing for 15% of the damage dealt, and getting like frenzy bonus. It's basically like the new version of frenzy, I want to say. And everything else in 80 carry tree is pretty straightforward. Attack speed, probably only Corky will take sorcery. Then there's feast, of course, which is massively improved from the old feast, but it's pretty much similar. It's gonna have a 20-second cooldown now, but it restores 20 health. And thankfully, we have access to lifesteal again and 80 carry, so that's the obvious choice there over natural talent, and I can't see many people going for attack damage and ability power per level. Again, maybe quirky players would just go straight up the right side of this early tree. Bounty Hunter or Oppressor. So I think Bounty Hunter is the clear winner here out of these two masteries. Deals 1% increased damage for each unique enemy champion you kill. So obviously stacks up to 5% increased damage, like all the time in a best case scenario versus 2.5% increased damage for like a couple seconds while they're CC'd basically. So I probably would go with Bounty Hunter. Most people will probably agree with that. And then not really a contest here. Again, Corky. So this is the major point of contention. I think people will kind of flip flop back and forth. And it may not necessarily depend on what tree they're going to go, but I put together these two trees just to show what you could get, and these would probably be the most popular. I don't see anyone going with the cunning tree. Uh, like 21 points or 18 points. I don't see 18 points here, but you'll see 12 here or 12 here. And basically, let's say you did go cunning. You have the choice of extra movement speed out of combat or savagery. You have to take 5 points. You can do a combination if you want, get a little bit of extra damage on minions and monsters. A little bit of extra movement speed out of combat, doesn't really matter. I think that that's going to be not that huge deal. And then Runic Affinity, hands down, 15% longer red buff. I think if you had 15% longer double buff, that's pretty good. And yeah, so that also includes River Shrine and Epic Monsters, so it's pretty useful. I think that would also include Baron buff then. So Merciless is just an improved version of Executioner that used to be an offensive tree. And of course, Dangerous Game is still coupled with that, so you're not going to go Bandit on 80 carry. You got to choose one of these, so it's Dangerous Game. I mean, technically you can take that point and put it wherever you want, but you're better off putting it here. So this is going to be Fervor of Battle combined with the Cunning Tree. I think is going to be like one way of specking 80 carry, and then Runic Armor and Warlord's Bloodlust will be the other major way. So all the other points don't matter as much, but those combinations do. And I want to say that a lot of people will be drawn to Executioner. 5% increased damage is a big deal. And let's see. You probably would go with something like this if you're more of a late game AD carry. You've got the 15% reduced summoners, 8% increase to all regeneration and lifesteal, so that includes the 2 flat health regen you get in the tree, and also the 2.5% lifesteal and spell vamp. Plus, you would take 2 less damage from champion and monster basic attacks. I don't think anyone would take the movement speed and brush and river over tough skin, unless you're a jungler. That totally makes sense if you're a jungler, but if you're laning, then tough skin's probably the better choice. And even in the jungle, take 2 less damage from monster basic attacks, so that's probably still a better choice. Don't really understand that mastery. Probably needs to be 20 movement speed or more to be really substantial. So that's just how I see it. It doesn't mean that people won't run this and then take the final point in fervor of battle instead. It'll be preference, because if you actually do that, then uh, basically have the same amount of sustain as the other spec, except you just don't get the critical strike, massive OP heals. So this is 15% of the damage dealt. Let's say you crit for 800 damage or 1,000 damage just to make it even. So 15% of 1,000 is 150, and then there's mitigation. But of course, we're saying that you crit for 1,000, so that's after mitigation. So let's say you crit for 1,000, you heal for 150, and then 8% more on top of that. I want to say that this interacts with that. It'd be pretty lame if it didn't. And 150 times 8%, that's another 12 health. So it's not actually that massive of an increase. What's more important is runic armor multiplies the health regen and lifesteal and spell vamp. But this is undoubtedly going to be the heavier damage masteries for AD carry. Dangerous game, good utility. 5% increased damage when you're below 40% health. That's the main point. Getting the extra buff duration, that's also huge. And it really doesn't matter what you do up here. But then, Fervor of Battle is basically like the new version of Blade and Spell Weaving put together, I want to say. And I don't know, I like it a lot better than the old tree, that's for sure. So I might do more analysis on other specs that you can do, but these are the only two that I see for AD carry, so I figured I would do them now.